Hello and welcome to Brush My Econ channel. If you wish to receive continuous updates from us, then consider subscribing to this channel by clicking on the subscribe button towards the right bottom of the video. Let's get started with this video. So this is a three-part video. In this video, we'll talk about absolute value basics. In the second part, we'll talk about how to solve absolute value problems. And in the third part, we'll talk about the problems on absolute value and inequalities. I will put the link of the second and the third video in the description of this video. So please go through them after going through this video. In this video, we are going to talk about what is absolute value or modulus of a number, then how to represent absolute value on a number line. Then we'll talk about a couple of properties of absolute value, and then we will see some examples of absolute values on number lines. So let's get started with the definition of absolute value. So absolute value or modulus of a real number x is the non-negative value of that number. That means we don't need to consider the sign when we are taking the value outside the modulus. Let's take an example to understand this. So if we talk about absolute value of, let's say, 3, then it will be equal to 3 itself because we need to ignore the sign. So let's talk about absolute value of minus 3. As you rightly guessed, this will also be equal to 3 because we don't need to consider the sign. Now what happens if you have an expression? So let's say 2 minus 6 plus mod of 3 minus mod of 3 minus 6. So if we have to solve this, first we'll solve the value inside the absolute value. So in this case, this will become mod of minus 4 plus mod of 3 minus, we'll solve this first. This becomes mod of minus 3, which is nothing but mod of minus 4 is 4 plus mod of 3 minus, mod of minus 3 will become 3. So this becomes 4 plus 0 or nothing but 4. So remember, when you are dealing with absolute value questions and if you have a constant inside the absolute value, so you can just ignore the sign of the constant and bring it outside the modulus or outside the absolute value. Now let's see what happens if you have a variable inside an absolute value. So let's say we have to find the value of mod of x. Now mod of x will be equal to x if x is greater than 0. That means if you have a positive number, you can directly take out x outside the absolute value. Mod of x will be equal to minus x if x is less than 0. That means if you have a negative value inside the absolute value, you need to take it out after putting a negative sign so that the overall result becomes positive, and mod of x will be equal to 0 if x itself is 0. Let's take some examples for this again. So in this case, what we are saying is mod of 3 will be equal to 3 itself because 3 is greater than 0. So mod of x is equal to x. In the second case, we are saying mod of minus 3 will be equal to minus of minus 3, which is nothing but plus 3. So mod of x is equal to minus of x when x is less than 0. And in the third case, we are saying mod of 0 will be equal to 0 itself. Now let's solve some problems on absolute value. You can pause the video and give it a shot. Okay, so let's try it out. Find the value of mod of minus 3 plus mod of 2 into 3 minus 4 into 2 plus mod of 25. Now we know mod of minus 3 will be 3 plus 2 into 3 is 6 minus 4 into 2 is 8 plus mod of 25 will be 25. So this becomes 3 plus mod of minus 2 plus 25, which is nothing but 3 plus 2 plus 25, which is nothing but 30. Let's try the second one. So find the value of mod of x plus y, where x plus z is 20 and y minus z is minus 25. So to solve this, we need to first find out the value of x plus y, and it is given to us that x plus z is 20 and y minus z is minus 25. If you notice, I'm adding z here and subtracting z here. So that means if I'm adding both the equations, I will get the value of x plus y. x plus z plus y minus z is equal to 20 minus 25 or minus 5, and z will cancel out here to give you x plus y is equal to minus 5. Now we need to find the value of mod of x plus y. So if I take a mod on both the sides, on the right hand side we'll get the value as 5. So the answer is mod of x plus y will be equal to plus 5. Now let's see how can we represent absolute values on a number line. So absolute value of a number x can also be imagined as the distance of that number x from 0 on a number line. So let's see what do we mean by this. So if I draw a number line, and let's say this is our origin and this is x. So what we are saying is mod of x is nothing but the distance of this x from origin. So mod of x in this case will become plus x. So let's say we had a negative variable y and which was somewhere here. What we are saying is mod of y will be nothing but distance of y from origin, and in this case mod of y will be nothing but minus y because y is a negative number. So remember, absolute value can also be imagined as the distance of that number from origin. Now let's talk about some of the properties of absolute values. So the first property, absolute value of a number is always non-negative. That means mod of a will always be greater than equal to 0 for all values of a. Let's take an example for this. So mod of minus 7 will be equal to 7, which is always greater than equal to 0. Second property, minimum value of absolute value of a number is 0 only when the number itself is 0. That means if it is given to you that mod of x is equal to 0, this means that x itself is 0. Third property, square root of a number is always positive. That means square root of a square is equal to mod a. So if it is given to you that x is equal to square root of 25, that means the value of x is plus 5. But on the other hand, if it is given to you that x square is equal to 25, then it means x is equal to plus minus square root of 25, and this becomes plus minus 5. Fourth property, absolute value of a negative of a number is same as the absolute value of the number. That means mod of minus a is same as mod of a. Let's take an example. So mod of minus 5 will be same as mod of 5 and will be equal to 5. And the derivative of this will be mod of a minus b will be same as mod of b minus a, because b minus a is nothing but negative of a minus b. So remember this, absolute value of negative of a number is same as absolute value of the number. Now product of absolute value of two numbers is same as product of their absolute values. That means mod of a into b is equal to mod of a multiplied by b. Let's take an example. So mod of 21 is going to be same as mod of 3 multiplied by mod of 7. Division of absolute value of two numbers is same as division of their absolute values. This is similar to the product. So what we are saying is mod of 4 by 2 is going to be same as mod of 4 divided by mod of 2, which is nothing but 4 by 2 or 2. Seventh property, sum of absolute value of two numbers is always greater than or equal to absolute value of their sums. That is, mod of a plus mod of b is always greater than equal to mod of a plus b. Let's take an example. So mod of 7 plus mod of 3 will be greater than equal to mod of 7 plus 3, which is nothing but mod of 10. In this case, it will be equal because on left hand side also we have 10 and right hand side also we have 10. Let's take another example. So let's take a positive number and a negative number. So in this case, on left hand side we will have 10 and right hand side will have 4. So mod of A plus mod of B will always be greater than or equal to mod of A plus B. Difference of absolute value of two numbers is always less than or equal to absolute value of their difference. That is, mod of A minus mod of B will be less than equal to mod of A minus B. Let's take an example. So mod of 7 minus mod of 3 will be less than equal to mod of 7 minus 3. So in this case, left hand side we have 4 and right hand side also we have 4. Let's take some numbers with opposite signs. So mod of 7 minus mod of minus 3 is less than equal to mod of 7 minus minus 3. In this case, left hand side again we have 4, but right hand side we have 10. So remember, mod of A minus mod of B will always be less than equal to mod of A minus B. Ninth property, taking absolute value multiple times or taking it once gives you the same result. That is, if you are taking mod of A multiple times or taking it one time, it will still be the same number. Let's take an example. So mod of 3 will be equal to mod of, we know mod of 3 becomes 3, so it becomes mod of 3, which is same as mod of 3. The same goes for negative numbers. So mod of minus 4 will become mod of, we know mod of minus 4 is 4, which is nothing but same as mod of minus 4, which is nothing but 4. 10th property, if absolute value of difference of two numbers is 0, that means both numbers are equal. That is, if mod of A minus B is equal to 0, that means A is equal to B. Let's take an example. So if mod of x minus 3 is equal to 0, this means that x will be equal to 3. 11th property, if mod of A is less than equal to B, that means A lies between minus B and plus B. This is a very important property and this will be used in the next video to solve the problems. Let's take an example. So what we are saying is, let's say mod of 3 is less than equal to 4. That means 3 lies between minus 4 and plus 4. The same goes for a negative number. So let's say I take mod of minus 2 is less than equal to 4. That means minus 2 lies between plus 4 and minus 4. 12th property, if mod of A is greater than equal to B, that means A is either less than equal to minus B or A is greater than equal to B. Let's take an example. So mod of 4 is greater than equal to 3. That means 4 is either less than equal to minus 3 or 4 is greater than equal to 3. In this case, the second one is true. Let's take a negative number. So mod of minus 4 is greater than equal to 3. That means either minus 4 is less than equal to minus 3 or minus 4 is greater than equal to 3. In this case, the first one is true. 13th property. So mod of A raised to n is same as mod of A whole raised to n. Example, mod of 2 cube is same as mod of 2 whole cube, which is nothing but 8. Let's take a negative number. So mod of minus 2 raised to 4 is same as mod of minus 2 raised to 4, which is nothing but 16. 14th property, mod of A minus B is always greater than or equal to mod of mod A minus mod B. Let's take an example. Mod of 7 minus 3 is greater than equal to mod of 7 minus mod of 3, which is nothing but mod of 4 is greater than equal to mod of 4, which is equal in this case. Let's take numbers with opposite signs. So mod of 7 minus 3 is greater than equal to mod of 7 minus mod of minus 3, which is nothing but mod of 10 on the left hand side is greater than equal to mod of 4. Now let's solve a simple problem on absolute value. You can pause the video and give it a shot. Okay, let's try it out. So if mod of a minus 3 is less than equal to 9, then find the range of values of a. So if you remember, this is very similar to mod of x is less than equal to b, and we know that the solution will be x lies between minus b and plus b. So in this case, we can open this as a minus 3 lies between minus 9 and plus 9, and we can add 3 on all the sides to get minus 9 plus 3 is less than equal to a minus 3 plus 3 is less than equal to 9 plus 3, which is nothing but minus 6 is less than equal to a is less than equal to 12. So this is the range of values of a for which this absolute value will be satisfied. Let's try one more. You can pause the video and give it a shot. Okay. So if mod of b plus 5 is greater than equal to 10, then find the range of values of b. Now this is similar to mod of x is greater than equal to a, and we know that there can be two solutions where x can be greater than equal to a or x is less than equal to minus a. That means b plus 5 can be greater than equal to 10 or b plus 5 can be less than equal to minus 10, which is nothing but b is greater than equal to 5 or b is less than equal to minus 15. So these are the two possible solution range for which this absolute value will be satisfied. Now let's take some examples of absolute value on number line and see what are the different kind of cases which we can get. So let's say we have a number line and we have 2 points given to us, point A and point B, and we know that both of them are positive. And we are going to find the value of mod of a minus b and mod of a plus b. Now remember that whenever they have given the value of mod of a minus b, this always means that it is the distance between the points a and b, irrespective of where a and b are. Mod of a minus b will always mean the distance between the points a and b. And remember that mod of a plus b will be equal to mod a plus mod b if a and b have the same sign. So if both are positive or both are negative, then mod of a plus b will be equal to mod a plus mod b. And mod of a plus b will be equal to mod b minus mod a when a and b have different signs. And it is given to you that mod b is greater than 1. Now let's see what happens in this case. We have discussed that mod of a minus b will be nothing but distance between the points a and b, which is mod a minus mod b. So mod of a minus b will be equal to mod a minus mod b, and mod of a plus b, since they have the same sign, so it will be nothing but equal to mod a plus mod b. Let's take an example. So let's say b is equal to 3 and a is equal to 4. So what we are saying is mod of 4 minus 3 will be equal to mod 4 minus mod 3, which is 1. And in the second case, mod of 4 plus 3 is equal to mod 4 plus mod 3, which is 7. Now let's see what happens if b was a negative number. So in this case, we have b as a negative number and a as a positive number, and it is given to us that mod of a is greater than mod of b. And we need to find the value of mod of a minus b. We know that mod of a minus b is nothing but distance between a and b, which is nothing but mod a plus mod b in this case. So when a and b have opposite signs, mod of a minus b will be equal to mod a plus mod b, and mod of a plus b, since they have opposite signs, so it will be equal to mod a minus mod. Let's take an example. So let's say a is equal to 5 and b is equal to minus 3. So in the first case, it will become mod of 5 minus minus 3 is equal to mod of 5 plus mod of minus 3, which is nothing but 8. And in the second case, it will become mod of 5 plus minus 3 is equal to mod of 5 minus mod of minus 3, which is nothing but 2. Let's see what happens if both were negative number. So if both a and b are negative, and it is given to us that mod of a is greater than mod of b, then mod of a minus b, we know it is the distance between a and b, will be nothing but mod of a minus mod of b. And mod of a plus b, since a and b have the same sign, so it will be equal to mod of a plus mod of b. Let's take an example. So let's say a is minus 7 and b is minus 3. So in the first case, it will become mod of minus 7 minus minus 3 is equal to mod of minus 7 minus mod of minus 3, which is nothing but 4. And in the second case, it will become mod of minus 7 plus minus 3 is equal to mod of minus 7 plus mod of minus 3, which is 10. Now let's solve a problem based on this. You can pause the video and give it a shot. Okay, so let's try this. So here we have been given a number line and there are 3 points given, A, B and C, and all 3 of them are positive, and C is greater than B and B is greater than A. And we need to simplify mod of B minus A plus mod of C minus B. Now we know that mod of B minus A is nothing but the distance between the points A and B, which is nothing but AB in this case. And mod of B minus C or mod of C minus B is nothing but the distance between the points B and C, which is BC in this case. So this will be nothing but the distance between A and C, which is AC. We can also solve it using algebra. So we know mod of B minus A is nothing but mod B minus mod A, and mod of C minus B is equal to mod C minus mod B. Mod B will cancel out, and this will become mod of C minus mod of A, which is nothing but mod of C minus A, which is nothing but your distance AC. Hope you're able to understand the basics of absolute value and the different properties of absolute value. If you did, please like the video, provide your valuable comments, subscribe to this channel, and do share this video with your friends. Thank you.